just to give people an update of, I guess, what we have been doing. We haven't met up face to face in 2 years now. We've done a lot of sessions where we've had specific speakers as part of webinars that have come out. So I'd like to just give you an update of what has been happening in the background, just so you are aware. And we're hoping that we can have more and more of these sessions where we can share some of the great initiatives that we've brought forward, and also share with you some of the information that we've received through the DAC meetings. So firstly, I'd like to talk about the Asbestos Focus Month that the AHCA ran along with the AHCA Asbestos Awareness Week campaign that happened. So November, the AHCA presented Asbestos Focus Month. So this was an extension of the AHCA Asbestos Awareness Week. So we used the tagline which AHCA used, which was this November, think twice about asbestos. Some great work happened. A lot of people put in a lot of effort to get some information out there. So as part of AHCA's Asbestos Focus Month, the AHCA had a big LinkedIn and newsletter drive. I'm sure you all would have received a lot of communication. It included quotes from some of our members, articles and short interviews with our members. This culminated in a webinar titled Sampling for Asbestos, the Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And it really came into effect. It was a joint session between AHCA and AOH with speakers from the AHCA, AOH, NATA, AHCA and FAMANS. It came around the point where NATA started pushing back around the sticky tape sampling, and we thought it was a really good opportunity for us to get together and talk about the requirements for sampling and ensuring that samples were collected appropriately and were analysed appropriately as well. We're pleased to report that from that session there, we had 700 people attend that session. So that was really magnificent. I think that's because we opened it up to the public and had some really good buy-in from AHCA, NATA, as well as the AOH. I'd really like to personally thank the AOH and everyone who presented on the day, and all those who were involved in the Asbestos Focus Month, especially all of our members who took time out of their busy schedules to sit down for an interview, to really get an idea of how they've been working and some of the challenges that they've experienced during their lifetime. A couple of updates from the DAC. So just a little bit out of, we all know that Safe Work are out there and they're doing their bit for the community. So just to give you an idea of some of the notices that have come out, the asbestos and demolition related notices that have been issued. So from the 1st of July to the 30th of June, there were 31 penalty notices that were dished out, 88 prohibition notices that came through, and 211 improvement notices. So, it's nice to see these figures and get a better understanding of how Safe Work are out there and protecting the community and our workers. So I'd just like to share this information with you, and we'll look at sharing this at each of the sessions coming forward. We were talking about, I guess, the incidence of asbestosis and mesothelioma, and that 4,000 people a year in Australia die from asbestos-related disease, which is really a very huge figure. You can see what we've done, around COVID, around the road toll and the like. And obviously, it's great to see the initiatives coming through around asbestos awareness. But to put that into context, there is a requirement now that the Department of Health does need to notify Safe Work New South Wales of any reported cases of asbestosis or mesothelioma and any deaths associated with those as well. So from the period 1st of October to the 31st of December, there were 6 notifications of asbestosis in New South Wales, 33 notifications of mesothelioma and 97 deaths. So 63 from mesothelioma and 34 from asbestosis. So it's obviously a major issue, and we're all doing our part to identify asbestos within the community and ensuring people aren't being exposed to asbestos. And this really drives home what we're trying to do as an industry and as a people to ensure that we're limiting and reducing the incidence of asbestos-related disease. It's interesting that this quarter here was quite low actually in comparison to the previous quarter. I think the previous quarter had 300 deaths associated with asbestosis or mesothelioma. I think we were talking quickly previously around the imported materials, and a bit of an update from the working group or from the DAC. It was identified, asbestos was identified within vermiculite plasterboard sheeting from Boral, and I'm sure a lot of you were aware of that material that came through. Billiard table pool irons as well was an imported product that was found to contain asbestos. And then 3 safety alerts were sent out as well on the AHCA website. So that included asbestos in RC vehicles, small engine RC aircraft, and then also in paddle wheel aerators as well. So obviously it is an issue that we need to be aware of. Customs are trying to do, or quarantine are trying to do their thing in keeping it out, but obviously the responsibility is on the importer to ensure that their supply chain is appropriately tested to ensure that they're not bringing in any asbestos-containing materials. And we're happy to announce that the AHCA has been approached by Standards Australia to form part of the committee that will be discussing the revision of AS 2601/2001, the demolition of structures. So that's BD 059, demolition of structures. So if anyone is interested in being part of that, I'd welcome you to reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do to get you involved in that. It is great to be part of the new standards, and I guess ensuring that asbestos and hazardous materials are, I guess, addressed appropriately within the new standard that will be drafted as part of that. I will pass you on to Leroy Brown now, our Vice President, who will go through our members list and some of the working groups and what we've been able to do in the last 2 years while we've been under lockdown. Over to you, Lee.
Thanks, John. Feel free to eat. Don't worry about me. Just do what you need to do. Feed those bellies. Just want to give you a bit of a health check on the AHCA and how we're moving, especially in and around our members. Obviously, it's been a tough couple of years. We had a year of startup of the AHCA, and then COVID hit, lockdowns and everything in between. But to give you a bit of an understanding on how we're going with members, even with those 2 years, and the last time which was about a year ago that I presented these figures at the AGM, we have doubled our number of business members, and we have about 25% increase in our numbers for individual or full members, which is still pretty good. It's a little bit shy of where we wanted to be at this stage, 3 years through. But with obviously, again with COVID, I think we've done exceptionally well. So that's looking at 32 business members at the moment, 15 consultancies, 6 corporate members, and 11 non-corporate members, the associations, government agencies, and so forth. Individual members, we're sitting around about 98 individual members, which is 96 full members and 2 provisional members. We've got some strong partnerships now with the AIOH, Australian Institute of Occupational Hygienists. We've got the National Organisation of Asbestos Consultancies, which is NORAC in the UK, trying to get a strategic alliance with them in sharing information. It's interesting with NORAC is that they are in the UK are fairly behind the times in asbestos in soil. However, are quite well advanced in other aspects, survey, clearances and so forth. So we're trying to get some type of relationship, or we have got a relationship with them, where we'll be looking for people to put their hand up and basically be part of that working group to share the information. The Australian Institute of Health and Safety, we've also got a strong relationship with them, and in the future we will be doing, like we did with the AIH, we'll be running some sessions like this with the AIHS. Australian Land and Groundwater Association, obviously in the asbestos in soil, they are part of our asbestos working group, which we'll get into next. Respirator fit testing, training and accreditation, RESPFIT. If you haven't heard about RESPFIT, we have an alliance or a partnership with them as well. And we are currently looking at if we can get our members a percentage off doing those courses. So look out for that space. The Demolition and Asbestos Industry Association in Queensland as well. And obviously just a variety of different members that we've got on there as well. So Asbestos in Soil Working Group. So I'm the chair of the Asbestos in Soil Working Group. It's in collaboration with AHCA and NATA, and we are observed by AHCA and Safe Work New South Wales. So basically, those sessions, we have lots of heated debates and long conversations and changing the world and fixing the world. But some of the outcomes of it have been that we've had, ASIO brought us involved into do a technical review of the guidance for asbestos cement water and sewer pipe management. We had a technical response to the WA guidelines for the assessment, remediation and management of asbestos contamination. We obviously work closely with Safe Work in multiple areas, but some of those have been in developing case studies for their updating of their management of asbestos in or on soil guidance, which has been a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. They need to cross some T's and dot some I's in that aspect, but that should be coming out forthwith. New South Wales EPA asbestos website in and around, again, a technical review of the website and how it was, some of the things they were reporting on. Being part of the DAC committee and also on the non-destructive digging working group. So the list continues. The consultation between Safe Work New South Wales EPA around industry issues with management of asbestos in soil. So heavily involved on that side as well. Providing feedback to the EPA on proposed landfill tax exemptions. So that was an initiative that the EPA were looking into on their waste side, was to give residentials a tax break on taking materials to landfill. Obviously, there's quite a few issues in and around that, especially with people trying to use that as a loophole to get rid of asbestos from an industry point of view. But that's another incentive that we're looking into helping with. We already had the conversation just before about the AI and satellite. We did a bit of a technical review on that as well, and looked into providing locations where we believed that the asbestos was most prevalent in and around New South Wales. Provided advice to ASIO with topics in regards to research and development funding. So they've got a bunch of funding to go forward to, and again we put a bit of a brief on where we thought research would be best used. And then most recently, the EPA recovered fines and soils exemption. What we'll do after this is we'll put all this onto our website with all the reports that we have provided and the advice that we have given, so that anybody as a member can go onto the website and have a look and do a bit of a deep dive and go into detail if you so wish. It is extremely interesting, or I believe it's extremely interesting work, and we've done quite a bit over the last 3 years. In and around lead, paint and dust working group. So there's a few things that we've knocked on here, which is the lead exposure awareness. So there was discussions in and around that, lead, paint and dust assessment risk evaluation process, the remediation requirements, lead, paint and dust waste requirements, worked with Safe Work New South Wales and the EPA, developed clear guidance to supplement AS and regulations, and all of that accumulated in the final part here, where we are going to be developing a code of practice for the management of lead, paint and dust. So with all those conversations that were above there, the first 6, it kind of got to a point where the group decided the only way to really address all of these is to provide proper guidance, which is lacking in the industry at the moment. So we'll be following that closely. And John, you're still the chair of that lead working group, so that's going strong. Future working groups, and again, this is a bit of a call to arms. We need expressions of interest from our members. There's only so much the executive committee can do, and our current working groups personnel, which is obviously the NORAC working group, to tie into them and have the sharing of knowledge and experience. That would be one working group. The second would be the asbestos clearance working group. So we touched on this around about 6 months ago, or maybe a little bit shy of 6 months ago. And unfortunately, it kind of fell over. We had a couple of the technical issues with that expression of interest, but we'll be reinvigorating that within the next couple of months. Future events, so things to look out for. So we've got our AHCA pulse survey that will go out. So this is a bit of a health check for our executive board to get information from our members. What are we doing well? What aren't we doing well? Where can we improve? What would you like to see from the AHCA? So that will be sent out in short order. We've got our quarterly events. So we have a very ambitious aim for every 2 months to have some webinar or so forth. However, we'll put it as quarterly, and if we beat quarterly, we'll look good. And then obviously the Blue Mountains AHCA conference, which is coming up on the 19th and 20th of May. If you haven't booked your tickets yet, definitely jump on that and book your tickets. The AGM in July will also come up. So anybody that wants to be more involved, wants to put the hat in the ring for the executive board, vice president, president, and so forth, feel free. We will be putting on out nominations. You can nominate yourself. Just it'll be the same as we did last year. If you put yourself in, you just need to have 2 people that will nominate with your nomination. So as references to your nomination. And that kind of concludes our discussion for today. Is there any questions from anybody at the moment in regards to where the AHCA is going for John or myself? Great. Thank you again for all our speakers today. It was very much appreciated. I hope everyone got something out of it today. We have been recording this as well, so this will obviously go on to our website as well. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Big thanks to all of our speakers today. I really appreciate the time you've put in to put together the presentations, as well as come to the venue and speak to us today. It's great to see everyone in one room again. I can't remember the last time we were able to do that, and it's really refreshing that we can have everyone together and allow everyone to network and do what they need to do. We'll be sharing this presentation with everyone online on our website, and we'll put the actual recording onto our on our blog as well, and you'll be able to access that hopefully in about a week's time. Look, we've still got the venue, so enjoy your breakfast and use the opportunity to network, and thank you all for coming again. Cheers.